Welcome to Small Business Celebration. We're continuing our series on small business sustainability. And our guest this week, well, he's going to give us some tremendous insight on how we can improve our business so that we can sleep better tonight. This is Small Business Celebration. Welcome, where we're celebrating small businesses for big breakthroughs. Welcome to Small Business Celebration, and our guest this week is Eric Slagle, the owner of Slagle's Mattress Factory. Welcome to Small Business Celebration.
Thank you for letting me be here.
For visionaries who don't know who are you, and what is it that you do?
Hi, my name's Eric Slagle. I own Slagle's Mattress Factory. We started this in January of 1992, making custom mattresses for people in the community.
One of the reasons we're talking with Eric today is because I've gotten a lot of questions and comments from visionaries just like you asking about manufacturing in California. And a lot of people say it's difficult to manufacture in the United States, let alone California. But Eric, you've been doing this for about 30 years.
Yes, just over that, 31 now.
You didn't happen to do this overnight. How'd you get here? Because this is not something that most people think of when they get a mattress, that they want something custom built. What got you into this business?
I jokingly tell people that it's a decision of bad life choices, or a series of bad life choices, rather.
Okay.
But you know what? Just happened to be at the right place, the right time. I was in insurance. There were some big insurance reform bills. It led me into a family-run mattress manufacturing business here locally. Before too long, I topped out in that family business.
Right.
Of course, I go to Dad and say, "Hey, I need to borrow some money," and then that's where it started.
Why custom-built mattresses? Because I'm being the novice until I met you. I thought if you needed a mattress, you just went down to a mattress store, got the same king, queen size mattress, take it home, and hope it is something you can live with for the next 10 years.
That's what the big manufacturers would love you to believe right there.
Right.
But I would have never thought would have created a niche market by just concentrating on quality. The quality that national brands used to put in their beds before they got bought out. There was such wonderful brand loyalty with the national brands you're familiar with, and then they all got bought out.
Right.
So people that had great luck with one national brand, all of a sudden it didn't perform as well.
Right.
They jumped to another familiar national brand and it was just as bad. Then their arms go up and they go, well, I might as well buy something online, because who would have ever thought that an online mattress, 20 years ago, I'm going to buy a mattress that I can't touch, feel, or lay down on?
Right.
Online.
And it comes in its own box, and it just self-inflates, and you're done.
Exactly. But we just have never strayed away from what made the big boys big.
Right.
And that's created a market. And since we manufacture all of ours and are continually looking for ways to improve on a product we already build, we've developed a market that people that are interested in quality are coming to us.
My wife and I got an RV a couple years ago. Worst mattress ever. And yet it's this really weird size. I mean, it's like trying to my wife ended up having to make custom sheets in order to make this thing fit. And yet that's something that you guys do a lot of.
Yes, that part of our business has exploded. I tell people that the RV industry has been so kind to us because they put nothing but, for the most part, POS mattresses in these things. People are always looking to upgrade or replace.
Right.
A gentleman that came by here yesterday, he had a $500,000 motorhome with a terrible mattress in it.
Right.
He needed it 3 inches narrower, 2 inches shorter, and a corner rounded so he can easily go around the corner on a pinch point in his bedroom right there.
Right.
And we were able to get it exactly the way he wanted.
How long did it take you to make that?
I can't give you those trade secrets right there. But within, within a week, we can almost always manufacture, develop, make anything a person wants.
One of the other things that I noticed here, and we're here in his showroom here on Rosedale Highway in Mohawk, and if you haven't been here, you got to check this out, because you've got how many mattresses roughly here in your showroom?
I think models, we have around 15 different models from, budget priced to mid-grade to our premium line that you just can't find the attention to quality and craftsmanship on at all.
And that's one of the things that I noticed when I was going around here, because when I came in to talk to Eric about this before we started recording, I snuck around and I peered the inventory and I started going, holy cow, this isn't, the prices are similar, if not comparable, if not better than what you're going to find for most of the national brand stuff.
I don't get to shop as much as I used to. Sometimes people recognize me when I'm out shopping. But yes, we are competitively priced, and so much more value is built into these. I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate.
Right.
Yesterday, a customer came in, and he goes, I may be in the wrong spot. He goes, I know you guys are all about quality, but I just need a full-size bed for my kid.
Right.
And he told me after everything was written up, he goes, I was expecting you'd be in the $1,700 range. I go, no, I've got competitively priced stuff right there also.
Right.
That still is built with a lot more attention to detail and craftsmanship.
Right.
This competitively priced. And it, fortunately, he found exactly what he was looking for, loaded him up, and off he goes.
Many of our visionaries, many of our audience members have rental properties, they have Airbnb, they have other properties that are fully furnished. What kinds of mattresses and bed sets do you have for those visionaries who are looking to offer the fully furnished, but want to make sure they have something so that if the tenant puts their smoldering cigarette into the mattress, it doesn't leave them cash strapped?
Right. And of course, everything is built completely flame-proof now.
Right.
But what comfort does that client want to offer their customer? If they want them to be impressed with the place they have right there, if they want extra firm to super soft, anything in between, I've got some mattresses rather that are priced at points that keep you budget friendly and still offer much more value than a lot of your national brands.
When we come back in the next segment, we're going to talk about manufacturing in California. But before we do that, if visionaries want to get in touch with you, Eric, how do they do that?
We're located at 5727 Rosedale Highway, right on the corner of Rosedale and Mohawk. Our phone number, 325-8830.
661?
Yes, of course, 661-325-8830. We do have a website, slaglesmattress.com. Come down, check us out. We'd love to see you, tell you all about what we can do for you.
And if you enjoy Small Business Celebration, go ahead and like, subscribe, and notify, and we'll talk more about manufacturing here in California when we come right back. The winter season is rapidly approaching, but are the tires on your car or truck ready for wet weather? Bakersfield's best tire store, Claru Tire, has been serving families like yours for 80 years and installs and services the tires your family depends on when the wet weather comes. Give Claru Tire a call at 661-324-6069 and ask them about what tire works best for you and your budget. Call Claru Tire at 661-324-6069 or visit them at 530 East 21st Street in Bakersfield or at clarutire.com today. The wet winter weather is rapidly approaching. Call Claru Tire at 661-324-6069 today. I'm here with Eric Slagle, the owner of Slagle's Mattress Factory. And our visionary question comes from Angela, who asks, we've been having problems getting our products manufactured overseas and are looking to do it locally. What are some of the things you wish you had done differently when you first started manufacturing your products locally?
My particular manufacturing, I can't have it manufactured over there. Could I buy product over there?
Right.
Yes.
And when you say over there, you're talking about China.
China,
Okay.
right. And I could, there's springs, there's foams, there's covers, there's actually pre-made beds, everything that I could get from there.
Right.
But I wouldn't feel comfortable associating the reputation we've built with Slagle's Mattress Factory with that. And unlike a lot of places that are looking overseas to cut costs, to increase profits, we're on a perpetual lifelong journey to find out what we can put in our beds to make it better. I feel they're already better than the industry is producing right now.
The domestic industry.
Because you can't mass produce what we're doing right there.
Right.
But we're still looking and are on the lookout for anything that will even help that and take us to even a better bed right there.
And I would tend to think too, as you're going through and you're making your mattresses, and it's literally right out back,
Right.
is where you're building it. If something isn't working, you find out pretty quick. You don't have to wait a day or two or three for it to come from that message coming in from overseas to find out something's not working.
You're correct on that, right? And one of the things that we're didn't forecast for, but we're thankful of, during manufacturing during COVID, when a lot of product was hung up shipping,
Right?
I've always looked for U.S. manufacturers for our springs, our foams, our covers, our quilters. Everything I can put in here is USA made. So I never had any of those shipping delays, problems that a lot of other people would have.
You didn't have that problem with that ship out, it's 10 miles outside of Long Beach, anchored
Right.
out, waiting to come in.
That's not a problem we had at all.
When it comes to manufacturing, a lot of us have heard all the horror stories about manufacturing in the States, and especially in California. When you started this, you started manufacturing 30 years ago, and the world has changed a little bit. But when you first started, your first store was out in East Bakersfield on California and Edison Highway.
Yes. East California, Edison Highway.
Right.
Yes.
And why did you start there?
Well, it wasn't by choice.
Okay.
There was a mattress manufacturer in that building that had retired, and it was sitting empty for years. I had known that he was there and went to get some machinery. He ended up making us a great deal on the building as well.
Right.
So it was like, well, I mean, here it is. We have a building now too.
Right.
So that's we were from very humble beginnings right there.
A Quonset hut with a swamp cooler.
Yes. Yes.
In Bakersfield, that's 100 plus percent
Yes.
humidity and 100 degrees.
You know what? We suffered through it right there. Yes.
And then you moved.
We were fortunate enough to sell that. Built a brand new facility on Brundage between Oswell and Mount Vernon, backed up to the freeway. Great location, and it was what I envisioned was the perfect setup for my factory direct. Since we are a direct manufacturer, we sell to the community. We had our showroom with glass wall that they could see right into the manufacturing process,
Right.
so they could see literally their bed being made.
And why did you move from there to your current location here on Rosedale and Mohawk?
Well, we had for years had both locations.
Oh, okay.
So we manufactured there. This was just our main retail locations,
Okay.
since that wasn't the best retail place, but we did all right over there. That's our part of town. But we had some rough years in 07, 08.
Just like a lot of people
Yeah,
did,
you know
right?
what?
Yeah.
We prepare for those. We've seen, we've had ups and downs in business, and 07, we got through, and we're hoping 08 would pull us out, and it just got worse.
Right.
So we were fortunate enough to get out from underneath that. We consolidated to this location, which is fortunately we can manufacture right here, and it's been a blessing. It really has. We've never been busier, and I've cut my employee costs down. It was something I hadn't dreamt of before, but it actually worked out very well.
What's the biggest single lesson learned in the transfer of the 3 locations where you'd sit there and go, yeah, I'm not doing that over again?
You know what? I made some financial mistakes that, because I was too prideful to call my CPA, because at that time he was a couple $100 an hour, and every time I pick up the phone, I get a bill, and it's like, well, I'll hurry up and make this decision on my own, and it literally cost me, over $50,000 in mistakes that you learn along the way, and it's. But these are lessons that I've learned, because I wasn't a businessman. I was just a guy that wanted to build a quality mattress, and as a lot of people I'm sure that watch your show can relate to, the business of running the business is the hardest part.
Right.
Knowing what you're doing that's the easy part. It's the back, it's the back room part, all the payroll, all the regulatory stuff. That's the challenge. It really is.
And when we come back, we're going to talk about those mistakes that one can make by not calling their CPA when we come right back. The reason we're talking with Eric Slagle, the owner of Slagle's Mattress Factory, is because of the financial support that comes from visionaries like you through our Patreon page. Simply go to patreon.com/small business celebration, where you can get bonus content, bonus information that can help you grow a strong and profitable business. Simply go to patreon.com/small business celebration and learn something you can use today to grow a strong and profitable business while we celebrate another small business making a big breakthrough. We're here with Eric Slagle, the owner of Slagle's Mattress Factory, and our visionary question comes from Dustin, who asks, it's tax season. What are some of the things you wish you had spoken to your tax professional about before the bill came due?
Wow, that's a long list.
It's a loaded question, too.
The number of mistakes I made are numerous.
Okay. Give us an example of one of those days where you were afraid to call your CPA or your tax professional because you were afraid that he was going to charge you.
Well, one in particular that stands out. It was one of my first big mistakes I should have learned from.
Right.
We had sold our facility that we were in on Brundage there, and we're wanting to build a new manufacturing facility. Where we had originally looked and wanted to build and had everything set up the proper way, that property fell out and it was no longer available to us. So we were sitting there leasing it back from who we bought it for, and they were all right with it until everything was happening. But property that was even better came available, but the contractor says, you need to move on this quick.
Sure.
And we had the revenue. So I wrote him a check for the property so we could secure that.
Right.
Well, it didn't go into a 1031 exchange, and and if I knew that that was the proper channel. I thought we could still meander it into a 1031. Well, no. That cost me about $50,000.
Ouch.
Yes, it was painful.
It left scars.
Yes, and even on top of that, to add insult to injury, my wife and I, we decided it was best to build this and put it in our name and lease it back to the business. That would be it'll be our retirement. This facility right there.
And this is a very common way of thinking for a lot of business owners.
Right.
The problem is,
well, and there are numerous to mention, but one of the things that we did as business was good, we would put extra money on the construction loan.
Okay.
Start paying it down. We don't want that big loan right there.
Right.
Let's just pay it down. And my CPA, as opposed to me calling him, he calls me up and goes, Eric, what are you doing? He goes, you just added all this extra income to yourself because you are adding to this, right? You're paying it down. You and Kim are owning this, and you're going to lease it back. So you just added income to yourselves.
Without any deductions or write-offs to go with it.
Right.
And this became a problem because?
Well, like I say, it was one of those things that my CPA and I finally had a meeting of the minds. I said, hey, I've made all these mistakes. I know it cost me a lot of money.
Right.
I go, but I was afraid to pick up the phone and call you because it was, it was $200 an hour every time I pick up the phone. I go, if I have a simple question that doesn't revolve any research, can I just pick up the phone and give you a quick call? And he said, of course, that's what I want you to do. And I didn't know that.
It's all about making that relationship with your CPA so that your CPA says, yes, you can call me.
Yes, and fortunately, I've got a good relationship with Jim Bach right now. He's guided us through some tumultuous times, to say the least.
When you're not here at the store, what do you like to do for fun?
I love everything outdoors.
Right.
I'm active. I love to fish. I love to hike.
Where do you go fishing?
You know what? The Sierras are great. I love, anything up above Bishop is wonderful. The Kings Canyon. That used to be my go-to spot every opening trout season right there in April. It's beautiful. Not only can I take in the beauty, but the fishing's also good right there. Right. It's just you know what? I love being in the outdoors.
Tell me about your children and their fishing.
Well, fortunately, they have been instilled with loving the outdoors and loving to fish too. I affectionately call them fishaholics. And
they take after the dad?
Can proudly tell you that both my daughters can outfish my son-in-laws. So that puffs my chest out just a little bit for sure.
What makes you wake up every morning and open your business?
I enjoy what I do. I enjoy building things and being able to stand back at something that I created and say, that was done right. And you know what? I am lucky enough to fall into a business that I can look over at all these beds that I created. We created, I didn't.
Right.
But you know what? And there's something in it that they can't find at your mass-produced places right there. And it gives me a sense of pride that people now have come to know us as a place of quality. And who would have ever thought that building a quality mattress would have put us in a niche market all of a sudden?
Right.
I mean,
sure.
Just because we're really building the beds the way the national brands everybody's familiar with used to build them when they were family-owned before they got bought out.
Right. Eric, this has been a real privilege. Thank you for joining us here on Small Business Celebration.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
If Visioneers want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Well, you can pick up the phone, give us a call at 661-325-8830. We're located right on the corner of Rosedale Highway and Mohawk. And we have a website, slaglesmattress.com.
And I'll be right back with my final thought. The winter season is rapidly approaching, but are the tires on your car or truck ready for wet weather? Bakersfield's best tire store, Claru Tire, has been serving families like yours for 80 years and installs and services the tires your family depends on when the wet weather comes. Give Claru Tire a call at 661-324-6069 and ask them about what tire works best for you and your budget. Call Claru Tire at 661-324-6069 or visit them at 530 East 21st Street in Bakersfield or at clarutire.com today. The wet winter weather is rapidly approaching. Call Claru Tire at 661-324-6069 today. Your 15-year-old self. Earlier this week, I was at the Current Initiative for Talent and Entrepreneurship Mixer, and it's a great mixer because you've got a whole bunch of different business owners in various different walks and stages of their business life. And I came across a conversation where a younger business owner was talking to an older business owner, and the younger one asked the older, does it get any easier the more successful you become? Well, the older business owner thought for a moment, and she replied, your problems just become different, not necessarily easier. Well, the younger business owner was kind of taken aback by that and seemed kind of dejected. And the older business owner paused for a moment and thought, what would your 15-year-old self say about you today? And the younger business owner thought for a moment and she said, well, you know, I've got a great family and I've got some great toys when we go on vacations and things like that. But I'm not there yet. I'm not even close to what I wanted to be when I was 15. And the older business owner paused for a moment and smiled and gave her a wink and she said, sometimes youth has unabashed clarity. What does your 15-year-old self say about you today? I hope you enjoyed our conversation this week with Eric Slagle, the owner of Slagle's Mattress Factory, and I hope you learned something that you can use today to grow a strong and profitable business. And we'll see you here again next week when we celebrate another small business making a big breakthrough. By the way, if a king sleeps on a king-size mattress, and a queen sleeps on a queen size mattress. What size mattress does a prince sleep on?
That's the beauty. If you can dream it up and sleep on it, we can make it. Any size a prince wants to.
Well, all this time I thought it was an air mattress.
Right. Right.
But bump.
Right.
And the other question I have for you is that what did the memory foam say to its owner when its owner asked how old it was?
I would imagine it lost its memory. I was so.
Well, your answer is far better than mine. My answer was 2 years, 6 months.
Right.
I like yours better.
Right.
So yeah, anyway, welcome to Small Business Celebration, and our guest this week